Hello my demons and ghoulies, and welcome back. Today we're gonna take a more chill tone, not necessarily serious, just not as silly willy. Before we get started, I want to say that on the topic of hobbies, I'm gonna be pinning bugs in the background. That's what you see on screen. So if that makes you uncomfortable or you're just squeamish around bugs, I recommend just listening along, minimizing the video, and just listen to me talk instead. As an artist and creative whose job and hobby is drawing, it starts to become monotonous after a while. As a creative though, using our hands to create is something we, or at least me, I need to do. Maybe it's actually just undiagnosed ADHD, who knows? But I have to be using my hands and moving and grooving. Regardless, it is also healthy to find other creative outlets other than the one thing I do for a job. For me, as a child, I wasn't really financially able to find other forms of creativity unless it was through school, which was great. My parents did encourage me to pursue artistic endeavors, but we didn't really have the funds for much else other than like sketchbooks and pencils. But now as an adult making my own money, I'm able to explore other venues. However, as a perfectionist, if I try something and don't get it perfect on the first go, it can be really hard for me to pick it up again. But with commissions currently as my paying job, aka making art for money, which by the way, thank you, and seeing that I'm no longer in school, it's becoming a lot easier to not be so critical of myself when peer pressure or grades are sort of looming overhead. The hobbies that I've done, like after school to now, I've done some stamp making, I've done sewing, which I adore, and I think it's probably the hobby I do most frequently. I do some charms and pin making with like a bit of resin and some shrinky dinks. Super easy, super fun. I've done a couple Lego sets, I've done a little bit of embroidery, music making, and now most recently, bug pinning. To touch on it really quickly, since you can see me doing it right now, it's something I wanted to do for a long while, and only recently, now that I'm more financially independent, can I finally give it a shot, and I'm really loving it. I will talk about it more later. It's a little hard to articulate, but being able to have other venues other than drawing really helps me feel more refreshed when I do draw. It's suddenly not my entire identity. It's creative, but I have other ways to show people my creativity, I guess. But being able to not have to draw on the clock for work and then draw until I go to bed means that I get a bit of a break and my brain gets to switch gears a little bit, and I feel more engaged with my commission work. It's also given me some insight on other facets of the world, learning and exploring more about the things around me, which is just in general really nice. Knowledge is good. I've become a jack of all trades and a quote-unquote master of maybe one. Creatives, I feel, don't necessarily have hobbies that aren't somehow creatively fulfilling or just creative in some way. For me, I'm not sure how to think otherwise if it's not like creative. The only more logical things I can think of that I do enjoy hobby-ish wise, quote unquote, are Sudoku. I love Sudoku. Puzzles, again, brain working, and scuba diving, I guess. It's not necessarily logical, but it's also not necessarily creative. But if I had to categorize it, I would say it's logical. There is a lot of like thinking and prep work and step taking involved before you get to actually scuba and enjoy the fish. Regardless, in a world where things don't seem so great and the internet seems to get more and more filled with the strange and misleading, hobbies are a healthy part of an individual. Whether or not they're creative or not, they help people work through things, get out excess energy, and just have something to put effort into. It makes you somehow a part of something other than yourself. Depending on what it is, you can almost disconnect from yourself and just focus on your craft. Maybe I'm waxing poetic, but it becomes more of what you make rather than you making it, if that makes sense. It becomes more about your enjoyment rather than others' opinions. Maybe that's me, but a lot of the time I do things because I think people will like it, and while I'm working on it, hobbies have helped me break that. It's getting better bit by bit. It doesn't matter what others think, if it's good or not, it's just about me having fun and enjoying the process. For instance, sewing has really helped me find my sense of fashion that's different from what I see typically worn out and about, but it's very much me, it's very much my style, and I feel more confident wearing it than the typical mainstream clothes, I guess. And bug pinning has obviously taught me how to preserve bugs and admire them from afar, but also it's teaching me about the bugs too, like where they're from, their habits, etc., etc. And speaking of fun, I feel like with the term hobby, side hustle comes along not too far behind. The thing is, I'm kind of tired of side hustle culture. It's just, I feel like if it's something you can see yourself doing long term, then I think it might be worthwhile, but you should be doing it for yourself, not just for money or fame. Enjoy your hobbies and don't feel like you need to be making a profit off of it. If it's not making you money, it's not worth your time is so dumb. Of course, on the flip side, maybe don't sink your life savings into a single hobby and live paycheck to paycheck because of it. Balance, like many things, is key, but you should be enjoying yourself and the process it brings. I know it can be tough on your wallet at times, but I do think there's plenty of hobbies and things to do out there that would be either worth saving money for or can be relatively inexpensive. So, I'm giving you homework. If you choose to do so, go partake in a hobby, even if it's a going on a walk and admiring flowers kind of hobby. Even if you feel alone in doing so, I can almost guarantee that there's someone out there in the world who enjoys the same things that you do. Even if that hobby is just going on a walk, admiring the flowers, looking at the sky, cloud watching. I know cloud watching's a hobby. Just partake in something. I promise you that it can be worthwhile, and also just could maybe get you out of doors. I know a lot of people are feeling like they're stuck inside and there's not much to do, myself included. But I promise that there's good things to do out there. Before I do send you off and let you enjoy the rest of the footage, depending on how much it's sped up or not, I do want to say I am hosting a Q&A for a future video, so if there's any questions that you've got, leave a comment down below, or there's a thread on Twitter, and you can go drop it over there. But okay, I will leave now. I am done. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the footage if you're inclined to do so. And please, if you do have hobbies that you're currently enjoying or thinking of trying, let me know. I would love to hear about them. I know I love to just try something new. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, maybe take up another hobby. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll let you guys go. I'll see you next time. Have a lovely day or night or evening wherever you are, and do something nice for yourself in the meantime. Bye-bye. Surprise! I'm back. I have some extra time and some extra footage, so I figured since we're on the topic of hobbies, why not talk about bug pinning in general? Because I feel like it's not really super common. So, by the name, you pin bugs at the end. But you get these, I guess, preserved little bugs. You have to hydrate them by placing them in a little moisture box of your own making. And then you have to use these pins to help essentially splay the wings open carefully. I didn't realize that, of course, you have to be very, very slow and patient, but it really does require a bit of a fine touch with these. You have to just use just the right amount of pressure. As you can see, well, it's a little hard to see from the footage. I did rip like a single wing on all three of these butterflies because I thought I was using the amount of pressure. I gave it just a little bit too much of a tug and they just tear. And to be fair, these are my first tries, and they're also small. These are very small butterflies. But you use these pins and these pieces of like vellum paper. They feel like parchment paper, but like a little thicker. You put the two pieces, one on each side of the wings to help them stay open, two pins by the thorax or the body, so it doesn't helps it stay in place and not wiggle around. Which, now that I'm watching the footage, I keep forgetting to do. I go right for the wings. I feel like you should get the body in place so the wings don't move. And then optionally, you can position the antennae too. I have seen some people, they remove the legs underneath. The video I was watching didn't say anything about it otherwise, so I just figured, since I don't know what I'm doing and this is my first attempt, I would just leave them. The thing I like about this is that you can learn about these insects, and preservation and conservation is very important, but also they're such fascinating little itty-bitty creatures, and there's so many varieties out there that it's just really lovely to be able to admire them. I don't know where the fascination started from. I know that there's like some butterflies and pinned butterflies in Silent Hill, which maybe that explains it, I'm not sure. But I just also, I had like a love-hate relationship with bugs for a while. Spiders still really get me, but I'm trying. And I admire them more. I try so hard to just like put them outside or ignore them instead of killing them right away. But it's sort of like a way to engage with them more, love them and appreciate them so much more, and it's also a way to learn as well. So yeah, I plan on doing more. Maybe I'll make another video, but for now, that's basically bug pinning. Okay, now I'll really stop. Okay, bye. I love you, bye. This video was made possible with the support of my patrons. $5 Ghoul shout out goes to Kelly. $10 Imp shout out goes to Lapis Dragon 01. And special shout out goes to my $20 Demon tier patrons, Mimi Chai and Jay Laughs. See you guys next time. Bye!